Yeah, I'll always be a metalhead. Nothing can take that away from me.
Right.
I mean, not jail, not people, not religion, not anything. I'll always be a metalhead. Metalhead leaves you all alive.
You're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Welcome back to the Great Metal Debate Podcast, bringing you another amazing metal album review. Today, we'll be checking out the latest album from long-suffering 80s thrashers Exumer, titled Death Mask Messiah, set for release August 28th from Metal Blade Records. But before we dive into this latest cauldron of molten metal music, a reminder to like, subscribe, and share all our content on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you might find us. And join in the metal debate by following us and commenting on Facebook, Instagram, and X. We'd love to engage with you. I'll admit to having a complicated, at times frustrating relationship with the thrash metal subgenre. There's a lot to like about it, and also much I don't. As I've argued before, there's a significant number of metal fans, and many members of the non-metal community as well, for whom classic thrash bands such as Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica, and Testament are perceived as a center of the metal universe, as if bands representing power, doom, death, folk, black, and other subgenres couldn't make similar claims. It drives me crazy. That said, and to give due where it's deserved, there's certainly a ton of great thrash bands from the classic era, such as Forbidden, Creator, and Coroner, but also including newer acts like Havoc, Vector, and Cryptosis, all of which to one degree or another retain traditional elements, but also have moved the sound forward with fresh wrinkles. Exumer have definitely cast their die as a defender of the old school sound, which has its benefits but also challenges, as we'll get into. Now, as often the case with long-tenured bands, Exumer has had a number of lineup changes over the years. The current band still retains a few members from their initial incorporation, specifically vocalist Mim von Stein and guitarist Ray Minch. And I'm sure for some purists that is noteworthy. For me, over time I've come to be less concerned with bands maintaining a seamless connection to the past and more focused on what they're doing in the here and now. At least that's the approach I'm taking for this review as far as evaluating the band and album. I'm not going to break down every track off Death Mask Messiah in detail, but I will at least run through the highlights from the song list to give you a sense of the album's flavor and to investigate the positives and elements I found wanting. The first and title track, Death Mask Messiah, sets the tone for the whole album, and a tone that the band largely won't vary from throughout. It's fast, pounding, impetuous, a vehement headbanger for sure. This is a track that would have been at home in the 80s. I really like that the band keep their hands moving the gear shift with frequent time changes that mix up the pacing, giving the song a sense of movement and uncertainty. Stein's gravelly voice is edgy, muscular, and well-balanced, even if he doesn't span that many octaves. The next song, Blinding Skies, cues up immediately with fearsome gallops and more anger and angst. I'll admit that the track ends so abruptly, and Blinding Skies starts up with such a similar feel that, the first time I listened through, I was confused, thinking it was all just a single song with an intentional pause left for effect. That's on me. What the hell was I thinking that a retro thrash band would be queuing up songs longer than 6 minutes? I jest, but all the tracks here are quick hitters, 3.5 to 4.5 minutes. Regarding Blinding Skies in particular, it's a blistering number without much variety, but energetic to the point of risking damage to the listener's neck musculature. I liked it, but hope for more variety as I move forward through the album. Jumping ahead in the listing, Serpent might be my favorite track on Death Mask Messiah. Still thrashy, but a bit more mid-paced, that is a building chorus I found very appealing. The lead break on it has a great melody and almost power metal quality to the rhythm beneath. For me, some of the most profound and enjoyable elements on Death Mask Messiah are where the band taps the brakes and allow for a bit more nuance and that melody to seep through, and I found that here. Another song I liked is Eradication, which has a memorable riff and some nice flourishes within the material that definitely encourages the listener to engage the air guitar. Very catchy, and another sumptuous guitar solo to boot. Now, for me, the track Scorcher showcases what I found problematic about Death Mask Messiah. While it lives up to its name as far as delivering punch and passion, it's also not significantly different than everything that has come before. and I just found the breakdown at the end to be both expected and uninspiring. I'm sure there are some for whom this will resonate, but not me. The album closes with Unchained Angel, a track that well represents both what I like and what somewhat frustrates me about this album. The main riff I found appealing and gives the track a somewhat light and groovy feel while retaining plenty of heaviness. And there's a really fun choral element to the chorus that provides a welcome change of pace. That said, there's still an element of formulaicity that in my view constrains this from achieving what it could be. There wasn't much point in addressing every song individually, as 3 songs into the album, you have the gist of what the band is offering. There aren't any surprises here. The songs are solid and well performed, but nothing new. Now, I'd go see Exumer in a heartbeat, and I'd be pumping my fist, banging my head along with every track they played off Death Mask Messiah, and I'd open my wallet at the merch table at evening's end. But I would still be lying to you if I said that this is an album I need to have on regular rotation in my earbuds. Having given some criticisms, I do want to highlight something very positive. Production-wise, this album is truly exceptional, which is something I can't always say, and has even been an unstated frustration with some of my fave releases from this year. The guitar tone on Death Mask Messiah is spot on throughout, just a perfect mix of heaviness that isn't too dry but also not overly thick, and every instrument feels like it's given it space to breathe and showcase itself. The musicianship is excellent. I loved every element of it, composition issues notwithstanding. As a whole, Death Mask Messiah is an opus of pure intensity that will be manna from heaven for the retro thrash devotees, and especially those who were around back in the 80s. For myself, I enjoyed the energy and applaud the spirit. I found the production to be outstanding, but definitely felt the drag of stylistic fatigue as I listened through the entire album. In those places where Exumer provided a bit more musical variation, I found that to be very welcome, and I hope the band will feel the freedom to explore those and other elements that touch more in the future, not that they should ever listen to me. Death Mask Messiah from Exumer is released by Metal Blade Records on August 28th. Check it out. You might or might not agree with my take, but these guys are metal through and through, and that demands your respect. You can purchase the album via metalblade.com and other places you know to find quality metal music, and don't skimp on grabbing some other merch like t-shirts while you're at it. Also, make sure to follow the band on social media. You'll definitely want to check them out live, as they have opportunities to get out on tour this and next year following the album's release.